Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining my session and showing your interest in the topic of outsource and also how to get it right the first time. So first of all, I wanted to ask you a question. What is the image of outsourcing that you have? Is it a positive or negative? Good if it's positive. If it's negative, I really hope that I can change it by the end of my session. And you'll be more open to outsourcing, to the idea of outsourcing, and maybe even trying it for your business. So let's go with the agenda. Today, I prepared three main key points I wanted to discuss. So first one is a modern motivation to outsource. And that information will be based on feedback of our current clients, which might be your competitors in the industry. Also, my conversations with colleagues in the industry and the research that I've done in the industry. Next one, the second point, do you need outsourcing? So I prepared a questionnaire that will help you to determine if outsourcing is the right path for you and for your company. And then the third point is get it right the first time. So I'll provide some insights on how to select an outsourcing partner and how to structure your relations with that partner so they are successful. And as a bonus, I will share a checklist to assure that your cooperation is successful. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I am a client partner, business development manager, sales representative at iNeti. I've been with the company for close to 3 years now, and the same with the same amount of time in the outsourcing business. Right before I joined iNeti, I lived in US for 11 years, and that's where I received my degree. And also most of my customer service experience and sales experience came from US as well. What I really value is work and life balance. And I'm very happy that my company can provide that. And by work and life balance, I mean, what you see in the picture, I have a 9-year-old son. He is a little ballroom champion. And to keep up with his schedule, I really need flexible working hours and this work-life balance situation, which I have, and thankfully, very thankful to my company for that. Okay, so a little bit about iNeti. We are an international company. Our headquarters is in Kazan, Russia. That's where I am right now. But right before the pandemic happened, right before the coronavirus, we were set on opening up an entity in Europe, in Western Europe, and we chose Munich, Germany as our location. So everything was prepared and scheduled. We were about to buy our tickets. And then like a week later, I think, the pandemic hit and the Germany went on lockdown. Then shortly after, Russia closed its borders. So this plan kind of got pushed back. We still set with this plan. We just need to wait till everything settles in, and then we'll be present. We'll have an entity in Western Europe. Total count of employees in our company is over 200. I believe it's like 250 or 270. And we are constantly growing. We're still hiring. So these 200 plus employees are distributed between 4 main departments. So the largest department in the company is 1C. It is also outsourcing and implementation and support of 1C. It is a local ERP system. Next one is Dynamics AX, Dynamics 365, finance and operations. And also we have a mobile app department, which is growing rapidly, especially in the current time with the pandemic. They are growing. They have so many projects, which I guess it's very relevant to current situation. And then a small part of the company is dedicated to machine learning. So my motivation to outsource. Why do companies outsource? And the most important one right now, and the most recent one, is adapting to the new normal. So the whole world got hit by the pandemic. The situation spun out of control very, very quickly. Companies had to react with lightning speed. It was up to company CIOs and IT directors to create infrastructure for employees to work remotely. To accomplish it quickly, for some, additional capacity was necessary to deliver on this changing roadmap. CIOs had to work closely with their internal teams to make the digital shift possible, and some of them had to use outsourcing option for temporary staff augmentation. There was an article I read while preparing for this session. I found it on McKinsey and Company website. It's a recent article. It was released in April. The title is Chief Digital Officer and COVID-19. So the example, there was an example of a company that was outsourcing to Philippines. And the CIO was facing challenges with call center support with the lockdown in Philippines. So the company's service providers stepped in to move more than 50% of the call center volumes from Philippines to a different location with no disruption to service or quality in a matter of days. So such a move would have not been possible if the business had to rely on its own internal operations. The next on the list is, and also very important right now, is cost savings. So companies want to better manage IT costs in anticipation of potentially challenging economic times. Next one is access to markets with skilled resources. So I travel a lot I used to travel a lot before the pandemic happened to meet with our current clients and also for pre-sale meetings all across Europe. And I normally meet with CIOs, CEOs, head of development department, HRs and project managers. And I often ask, why don't you hire locally? And most of the time, the answer is not the high rate, not the high salaries of local talent, but it's just the absence of available skilled talent in their local markets. And it happens all across Europe. So some of the conversations I had was with the companies that are located in Switzerland, Germany, Belgium, UK, Austria. So they all are saying that there are way more projects than there are skilled people, and there is just not enough talent entering the market. Companies can't scale up quickly as they need, so they're missing out on new business. Sure, there are some companies that create boot camps and training programs, but after this short-term intense training program, on the way out, you still get a junior. And then there is another problem with, training the new hires, putting them through this intense training, is that there is no guarantee that they will stay for as long as you need them to get return on your investment. And the last key point that I want to highlight, the last important, motivation to outsource is complementary to recruitment strategy. And that's what most of our clients use. So they have their own internal teams, but they need an outsourcing partner. And there are three main reasons for that. So first one is short-term gap fillers for vacations or sick leave, when it doesn't make sense to hire someone for a short period of time, but you still need someone to fill this gap and the work still needs to be done. So there's one example that I would like to mention. One of our long-term clients, we've been working with them for over 2 years now, and they hired a dedicated team from us. It's about 4 to 5 developers, and there's a consultant on the team as well. So they provide full-time work for them. They incorporated in their own team on a full-time basis. But about 6 months ago, the company's manager came to us with a short-term request. So the situation was that the internal employee was scheduled for heart surgery, and then he needed some post-surgery recovery time of about 2 months total. So of course they would not hire someone for such a short period. So they came to us to fill in this gap, and we gladly helped them out and provided the resource for this short period of time. And then the next one would be long-term reliable partners. So people are looking for that. That's one of the reasons as well. And some companies have a steady flow of projects. They know that they will need the capacity, but they just don't want to bother with hiring and training process. It is easier for them to hire a dedicated team or just to simply outsource the work. And the last one is possibility to scale up and or down when needed. So again, companies don't want to worry about hiring and also maintaining the idle time of the internal team. They're looking for flexible on-demand relations. Okay, so moving on the questionnaire. If you are debating whether or not outsourcing is for you, so this questionnaire may help you. If you answer yes to 2 questions or more, then outsourcing may be a valid option for your company. So please think about it, and also maybe involve all the decision makers in the process. I have 6 questions here. Do you worry you may lose a valuable team member to a competitor? Do you worry about idle time of your in-house team? Can you see yourself grow can you see yourself grow if you had more resources? Do you ever struggle hiring as quickly as your project requires? Do you need to reduce your development budget and maximize your profits? Do you find your in-house team unable to cover all types of projects? Have you ever faced a project where you did not have any of the internal resources with the necessary skills, the necessary experience? Okay, so please give it a thought. Okay, so and also important thing is to make sure all the decision makers are on board. So let's say if you decided to outsource, it is very important to involve all the decision makers and get yes from them. So you just can move quickly with finding the outsourcing partner. Especially in the light of recent events, it is very crucial to start implementing practices that speed up decision making and execution during crisis or just in general. So companies that are more decisive, they normally get ahead. They just do better in general. Okay, finding a reliable provider. So let's say you decided that you do need a partner, an outsourcing partner, and but you don't know where to start. Yeah, how do you find, where do you go? So I always recommend proactive approach rather than reactive. Start your search early on. Even if you think the need for outsourcing is not in the near future, it is still good to know your options. You never know what else may happen to you. Another COVID-like situation, a big project come along, something that you weren't planning for before. Employees may leave. So the first step would be to shortlist the companies and meet the company's representatives. You can first always I always recommend starting with asking for referrals. So ask a company, ask your partner in the industry if they ever had experience outsourcing, if they have maybe a reliable partner they're working with already. So that would be like a sure thing for you. It's more likely if your partner had a positive experience, so that you will have successful relations as well. Next one would be platforms like clutch.co, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It is clutch.co. It is a B2B research, ratings, and reviews firm. It is US based. So you can browse there and find a company that providing resources in your specific area. The next option would be LinkedIn, and you may go through your connections. You might already have someone there. Also pay attention to the news feed. There are some groups that are dedicated maybe to outsourcing or to your area of business, where you can just, address the question of what you're looking for, outsourcing partners. So people may send advice to you. And then there's always a good old Google search. And honestly, we had some clients who are our partners right now. They just Googled. They Googled. One of the recent ones was retail POS developer Eastern Europe, something like that. They put this word combination, and we came up on the list. Another one was looking for D365 F&O outsourcing partner Russia. So they were set on location, and we also came up on the list, and we've been working with that company for over a year now. So the next step would be meeting the company's representatives. Please make sure, I strongly recommend, it is always a live conversation. So after all the travel restrictions are lifted, you may request a personal meeting. We honestly, we don't mind traveling for pre-sales. I normally schedule 2 or 3 meetings in one area, and we fly out there to meet people in person. But in the current situation, there are other ways to do that. You can always have a video call or just a voice call with the company. But honestly, we also had companies that we signed contract over emails. They were just emailing back and forth, and on the 4th or 5th email, we had the contract signed. After that, of course, we had the calls, but the contract was signed without the live conversation. I do not recommend that. It's always better to have a live conversation. Okay, so when you talk to company representative, pay attention to, when you reach out to the company, pay attention to the response rate, because your interaction with company's representative is probably what your interaction is going to be like with the company. So how quickly do they respond? What is their English proficiency? It's all about communication. How easy is it to speak to them? It may not be just English. It may be German, for example, if you're looking for a German partner. Also, knowledge of the services that they provide, ease of communication, and just the general vibe. Do you like communicating with these people? So on your first call, the important questions to ask, and I will have a checklist for that. It will, guide you through what questions to ask so you don't miss anything. Of course, years in the industry. It is important to know where a company was founded, but overall years in the industry is more relevant. Because, for example, with us, the company was founded 9 years ago, but we've been working with Dynamics AX for over 17 years. And then also number of relevant resources. Number of resources in total, let's say we're a company of over 200 people, 250, but our Dynamics AX department is 40 people. So make sure you also ask the number of resources that are relevant for your projects. Because as it is with us, the company may have other directions that are not relevant for you. A format of cooperation. This is also important. So different companies offer different formats. I think they're all similar, but it is still asked, what is the cooperation like? What formats do you use? Rate, of course, it is important, but also rate is just a number. You need to understand what is the value that is behind the rate. What are you getting for this amount of money? And then references. It doesn't hurt to ask for references. Maybe there are some, not just testimonials on their website, but maybe there are some real people you can talk to who've been using the services of this potential partner. Okay, so shortly after, so let's say you have when you were looking, when you were doing your research, you created a short list of companies, 4 or 5, for example. Go ahead and start with a test task. That's something we recommend, and actually that's something that not all the clients asked. I believe only 1 or 2 clients asked on their own if we provide some kind of test task. It's normally us that are suggesting the test task, just to test out the cooperation and the quality of the code and the response rate. All these things you can test before you actually commit to somebody. So with the test task, we suggest to make it smaller, 8 to 24 man hours generally, and make sure it's relevant to your upcoming project or to just projects that you work with. Okay, and then also some of the companies actually offer the test tasks for free. It's okay to ask, like, can we have a free, for example, test task? Some companies suggest reduced price for their test task. So it's okay to ask. Okay, moving on. Oh, make sure when you get the test task back, make sure you test it. Look at the quality of the code. Look at the reaction. How quickly they did the task. And if there's something you're not happy with, please communicate it to the partner. Please provide feedback and see if they're willing to improve. Just because you may get something that you below your expectations, for example. It doesn't mean that it's not a good fit for you. Provide feedback and see what they say in response. Because if you did not like something, you just simply scratch them off the list and disappear, you may be missing out on a really good partner. So feedback is very, very important. Okay, moving on. So, you chose your one partner, outsourcing partner that you would like to start your cooperation with, and you actually have the need. So I would definitely recommend giving heads up ahead of time. So when you have a project lined up and you'll need extra resources, contact your chosen partner right away, and ideally a month in advance. We honestly had situations where we provided resource within 24 hours. So the client came to us with an urgent request and we helped them out within 24 hours. But it's not always possible. So our average is 2 weeks normally. Okay. So specify your requirements. Provide the necessary qualifications you're looking for, also project timeline and certain milestones. If there are some critical periods in the project, communicate it to your client. Make sure they know that, for example, during this time, there are absolutely no vacations that can be taken by the team, and that's okay. And then also specify if on-site period is necessary. And the next one would be onboarding. Onboarding is very important. It is a major part of success. And for onboarding, I would like to share the feedback of one of our clients. It is actually a part of the interview that he provided to clutch.co. That's the platform where you can find partners. So the clutch.co representative conducted an extensive interview, which you can actually find the full version on this website under our company's profile, under iNeti. And here the company representative asked, do you have an advice for potential customer? And out of all the information that our client could have shared, he suggested onboarding. He really highlighted onboarding. So you can read it on the slide. Okay, and it doesn't always have to be on-site meeting, especially with current pandemic situation. But there are other ways to do it. What's really important is that you integrate these external resources in your own internal team. Other developers, project managers, consultants, or whoever it is in your team. Okay, moving on to structuring your cooperation. So you found a partner, you provided details on your upcoming project, and now it's time to kick off the project. How do you structure your relations? And I will provide a checklist as well with everything you should consider. It is based on our long-term cooperations with clients and things that we didn't pay attention to before, but something we actually came across while working with multiple clients. So first of all, treat them as your partner. Treat them as your partner, and you will get the same in return. You can't put everything in a contract. There are just all kinds of situations that you cannot foresee. You should be comfortable and feel that they are flexible and that they're willing to work with you. Provide a bigger picture. And this is the feedback that I got from our developers. A lot of times they say that if they saw a bigger picture of the project, it would make their job easier, and it would help them achieve higher quality. So ensure good communication between external resources and your own team, and even customers or end user if possible. So a lot of times our developers just see this specific task, the documentation for their specific task, but their task is a part of our bigger task, right? And they need to see what the bigger picture is, what the client is trying to accomplish on the way out. So it will make the developer's job easy, because there are different ways they can do their job, and if they know the final result, they will create work that will support this final result. So measures of success, it's very important to communicate that to your partner as well, and to specific developers, the specific dedicated team that you're working with. Communicate your measures of success clearly. Make sure they understand it, and make sure they agree to it as well. So is there a specific quality that you're looking for? Is meeting a deadline a mark for your success, or is doing it within budget is more important for you? Next one is important to choose your format. So there are several formats of cooperation and outsourcing partner may offer you. One of the ones we're working with is like Outstaff or task by task. There's some mixed formats as well. So make sure you understand what you're getting with every format. And don't be afraid to ask their advice on what suits your specific project better. So they may share some insight on what other clients chose. Because companies like us, we work with multiple companies, different industries. So your outsourcing partner may already have experience with a project like yours, so they can share with you what worked with other clients. Suggest basically the best way possible for you. Treat them as industry experts. Dedicated person on your side. So it is very important, and we normally, with projects, before the project kickoff, we create a stakeholder register with all the names, all the stakeholders involved in the project. Also their titles, of course, what each one of them is responsible for. So who can you go to with specific question, and preferred way of communication. So that really helps. We create it from both sides. We put people from our side, and the client fills in his team as well. Report sheets. So that's something that my project manager shared with me. He said, Diana, this is a real lifesaver. So some companies have the internal system where they ask our developers, external resources, to log their work in brief description of what they've been working on. While other clients ask our project manager to provide like weekly or bi-weekly or monthly report sheets. Also, brief description of where each developer is in the task, what's been done, what's next on the list. So just to see, make sure the project is on time and every deadline is met. Okay, so just to sum it up, these are the must-haves for success. So these are key factors to consider when choosing a partner to help you grow and provide a competitive advantage on the very competitive market. Partner relations model. So don't treat them as just a subcontractor. Make sure you show them a bigger picture. Ask them about the hiring strategy, hiring skills. Highlight the skills required for your projects. Share planning for capacity that you need. Develop a strategy together. So make sure you really treat them as your partner so they can help you approach the market better. They can help you grow no matter what. Treat them as an industry experts. Go to them for advice. Business model. Make it business focused rather than contract focused. Don't leave it at transactional level. Make it business value based. And then blended ecosystem. So you may use in-source, outsource, nearshore, offshore. Just make sure you include everyone in the process. Establish good communication between all the departments. It will create a better leverage for you, and it will truly set you up for success. And this is all I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for your attention. I will upload the bonus checklist pack that I promised. The first one would be a must ask your potential outsourcing partner how to lead your first introductory call and what are important things to ask. And the second one is a must do for successful cooperation that will be related to how to structure your work and what works better, what formats what work better, and yeah. So we included all this information based on our years of experience. If you won't be able to download it from this platform, please email me and I will send it back to you within 24 hours. Also, for questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me under my name. You can also email me or just give me a call. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much.